Damn, that's a pig. I'd have never found this thing. I'm very grateful, man. Thank you.
Searching for a deer with a tracking hound. Over the river and through the woods, across the field, this dog is good. Found a little blood and two wound beds, tracking hounds telling me this deer is dead. Over the river and through the woods, across the field, this dog is good. Found a little blood and two wound beds, tracking hounds telling me this deer is dead.
Thank you. This is why you call a dog.
Yeah.
Hi guys, Matt with Tails on Trails Deer Tracking, and of the ABTA and of the Michigan Deer Tracking Network. So I did this true live stream with 0 followers because I don't believe it was put out there as announced, and that's okay. This is largely just me testing a true live instead of a recording that publishes as live as a later date. I'm trying the true lives as it will tie into some of what I'm going to announce here. But a pretty good week last week for me. I said on my last woods walk that I had gotten a couple of phone calls that were humbling and flattering. And maybe I'd have an announcement later. Well, this is that announcement, and we have thank you for the one person that just jumped on. This is that announcement that I teased last week on my woods walk. But some flattering stuff has transpired over the last week and a half or so. And it's going to lead to a whole bunch of cool stuff going forward that I'm truly pleased to be a part of, and humbled to be a part of, and excited to be a part of. So, I'd said on the woods walk, I'd received a couple of phone calls, and I think they were like a day apart. And one of them, the cat is a little bit out of the bag because it was announced on the American Blood Trackers live stream on Tuesday last week. If you haven't seen that ABTA live stream, you can go to Tails on Trails Deer Tracking on Facebook, and I shared it. You can go to the American Blood Trackers Association Facebook page, scroll through, and you'll find it on the Tuesday live stream. I was their guest on that live stream. It was Kenny and Ralph, and it was a really good conversation, save for the technical issues towards the tail end of the live stream, where Restream was having some issues with not allowing the viewers to see or hear me, but that was a streaming service issue. Not anything on my end or even on Kenny and Ralph's end in terms of the Wi-Fi. So, so the first announcement, I guess, is well, I'll back up. I received a call out of the blue from. I received a message, actually, a Facebook Messenger from Kenny Mullins, of the co-founder of the American Blood Trackers Association, and I'd had some other communications with Kenny and just some situational stuff and some technical questions and things such as that, but received a message from him asking if I'd be available, if he could call me later. Yeah, sure, of course. Said he was wrapping up a meeting and he wanted to give me a call later. So, however long later he did, he called me. And the premise of that call was was frankly inviting me to join the American Blood Trackers Association in an official capacity, in essence. Um, join their board and help them with their social media presence. Um, he's been following the Tales on Trails podcast. He's been following Brew and I just in general on our Facebook page, and well, Blakey, I got your message. Cool. Laying a practice track now, so won't be much chatter here. Yeah. Just watch back. Yeah, I'll see. Cool. I'll see you in Missouri, Blake. Fun. But anyway, yeah, he liked what we're doing with the podcast and the way we've done it. He said, and asked me to join their team. I was flattered and floored and humbled, but I told him I wanted to think about it. I told him I wanted to think about it, and I also made sure that he knew that. That my stuff is amateur. He knows that. I mean, I'm no editing expert. I'm none of that, and they fully know that and accept that. But I asked him for a couple of days to think about it. So I did. I consulted someone, one of my closest tracking friends and best tracking mentors, and just bounced it off them. My concern was I wanted to do a couple of things. I wanted to make sure that thanks, Blake. Even if I didn't, I lost my train of thought reading Blake's reading Blake's comment. I wanted to make sure that I was right for the role. I wanted to make sure that I was the right fit for the organization. And I wanted to reflect on how my association with the American Blood Trackers Association, the ABTA, might impact the relationships and connections I have built throughout the tracking community. And I reflected on that, and I consulted with, I told you, my one of my good friends, one of my closest friends in the tracking community, and one I admire very highly. And his feedback was pretty favorable, and really, he said something that really hit home. So as soon as he provided his feedback, my decision was in essence made. But I needed to further ensure that Kenny and Ralph and the rest of the ABTA team knew what they were getting with me. So I sent them an email. And because I tend to be long-winded. And so I sent them an email, and I outlined two major points in that email. And again, Kenny talks about this on a live stream. So if you get a chance, go back to that live stream, either on Tales on Trails Deer Trekking on Facebook. I did share it, or you can go to the American Blood Trackers Association Facebook page and see it there. Towards the tail end of it, Kenny, it's about 2 hours. It's a long one, but the tail end of it, Kenny kind of lays it out. But I'll just repeat it here. But there were two critical pieces to my response to them. One was I wanted to ensure that there was structure and direction with the ABTA, and I wanted to be sure that there were the roles within the organization and within that structure are defined. If the vision is long-term sustainability and having a favorable impact on the tracking community, long term, there's got to be structure and there's got to be defined roles. There can't be ambiguity. Everybody has to know what their role is and execute it to the best of their ability. And they have to be clear on that. And we all have to know what everybody else's roles are. And there has to be a structure. It can't be the Wild West. I'm being a little bit dramatic. I wasn't quite that dramatic in my email to him, but that's really, kind of the message. And I also said that doesn't mean that structure in those roles can't be developing, as long as there's a plan in place and we start moving in the right direction to establish that structure and discipline. And there is some pretty solid structure already. There is, and I'm a new guy. I'm the new guy, so I'm just now getting getting the exposure. But there's going to be a whole lot more to come. But so it's there, and they appreciated that feedback. It's just how I operate best. If they want me to be their social media czar, that is that's the whimsical title I call it. Their social media czar. I'm anything but a czar, but it's funny to me. To take over the live streams and the podcasts and social media posts throughout the year and stuff. So I needed that structure. The other thing that I talked about with them, and this is a big one to me, is I like to take a very collaborative approach to what I do. I don't like drama. I don't like politics. It's just no point in it. There's just no place for it. And as with anything, there are pockets of it. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a local, sports organization, a youth club. I coached football for 27 years and, run youth programs, football programs for most of those 27 years, while coaching at various levels. There's drama, pockets of drama in politics, in everything. No different in a tracking world. It doesn't mean that the tracking world is bad. I love it. And I cherish the connections and friendships I've made there. And I want to continue to make those, grow and expand those connections and friendships. And I want to continue to foster the friendships that I've made. And so I had to reflect on how my association with the ABTA might impact those. And, I also wanted to be clear that, the United Blood Trackers, which is just a fantastic organization that paved the way for tracking. They are the pioneers really for the national organization and growing tracking and growing the awareness for what the tracking community is today. I think there's all but 6 states that allow leash dog tracking, and that's largely because of the work from the United Blood Trackers. But the ABTA came along, and their mission is very similar. So my point is to them was, I'm going to continue to embrace and support the United Blood Trackers because they're a credible organization. But I also very much enjoy the work being done by the by the American Blood Trackers Association, by the ABTA, by Kenny, Ralph, and the team. I've attended their event in Lancaster. I talk about it all the time. It was great. I've watched a whole bunch of their live streams, and I was a guest on 2 of them. I like what they're doing. I like the purpose of. I'm going to use the word education. I hate that word. It sounds so pretentious. But for lack of a better term, I guess that's what I'll call it. They've got a pretty purposeful mission for educating and training. and I want all of that I can get, regardless of the source, UBT, ABTA, and so I needed them to be clear that I would alienate nobody or nothing as I become formally affiliated with the American Blood Trackers, and they welcome that. There's really no reason that the two organizations can't coexist, and that the two organizations can't mutually support each other and and um, and do great things for the tracking community coast to coast. There's just no reason that can't be done. Are there differences, some slight differences in philosophy in terms of, I'm not even going to say philosophy, I'm going to say approach, slight differences in approach in terms of maybe testing? Yes, there are some differences between the UBT and the ABTA. So foundationally, they're largely the same, but they are slightly different in terms of the tests themselves. Are there differences in the way that the tests are assessed? Yes. The judge of an ABA does not hold the sole decision on whether or not the handler passes or fails that test. That is done by a small committee, and it's done very quickly. It's not, so slight differences in approach. Both are credible. I am proud that I have a white and a red ribbon over my right shoulder right now. And I'm hoping to have an orange ribbon after the Illinois Deer Tracking Symposium. The Trackers Haven coming up in the end of April. So that's another UBT cert. So, that was important to me. And I need to make sure that they understood that was my position. And they did, and they welcomed it. Now, I'm full tilt boogie with the commitment to the ABTA and still fully embracing the UBT. So if I have any UBT friends following, watching this, please don't let my formal affiliation with the ABTA, which is doing great things, impact our friendship and our connection. That was one of the things that bothered me the most. But I think it's going to be okay. I strive to bridge that gap if there is one. So that was the big thing, and they welcomed it both. They welcomed both of those perspectives. And we're glad to have me on board. So I was glad to accept their invitation. So yes, I am now officially affiliated with the American Blood Trackers Association, as their social medias are. And starting on Tuesday, I'm hosting the live stream. And I spent some time last night outlining the schedule, at least a tentative schedule for the next, through May, I think. And I'll be pulling that stuff together. So that's pretty fun. And I will tell you guys, there's some pretty cool things on the ideas list, the podcast list. I mean, there's some really neat stuff, and that's cool. Now, what does that? I'm going to continue with my own thing. That's the other thing I needed to make sure they were clear on. That I'm going to continue with the Tales on Trails Deer Tracking podcast. And I'm going to embrace that with the same enthusiasm unknown to mankind that I have always done it with. And that's continuing to grow and build a little bit. And I think there's some fun stuff coming with my own little hobby podcast too. But the ABTA gives me, that's a national platform. So it's pretty fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. So some super cool stuff there. That's the first announcement. And I thank Kenny and Ralph and those in the ABTA that welcomed me, and I look forward to it. It's going to be a ton of fun. Next announcement, just the next day, maybe 2 days later, another humbling and flattering call. I'm a member of the Michigan Deer Tracking Network. Morning, Mike. Good morning. I am a member of the Michigan Deer Tracking Network, a proud member, and have been since I started tracking in 2022. Right out of the gate, I was welcomed into that network, and I'm a better tracker for it. And I would not be where I'm at in my development without the Michigan Deer Tracking Network. Full stop. It's just the truth. It's a fantastic network full of great people doing great things, and I'm very proud to be a member. Well, I was very humbled and flattered when I got the phone call from Calvin on the heels of their admins meeting, asking me if I'd be interested in joining the administration team, the admin team of the Michigan Deer Tracking Network. So again, flattered and humbled. I didn't have to think about that one. I said, "Wow, yeah, I'd be glad to." I'd go a couple of questions with Calvin, but they welcomed me as an admin of the Michigan Deer Tracking Network. So I guess I'm going to be busy, and that's good because it's all busy with tracking stuff. And the conversations that we've had amongst the admin group in the Michigan Deer Tracking Network has been very, very good. There are some super cool things forthcoming in the Michigan Deer Tracking Network as well. All in development. It's another group that, it's always been a structure, but it's continuing to evolve and develop as anything that's good does. You must be receptive and evolve with the time, and continue to strive to continuously improve, I guess, to use the word continue twice. But both organizations do share that vision in the ABTA and the Michigan Deer Tracking Network. So yeah, those are the announcements, guys. I'm super stoked about it. I'm super a little bit nervous, but I'm going to do my best to do my best, and that's what I'm going to do. And it's super fun, but and I'm hoping it makes me better as a tracker and a handler. There's a whole lot I can learn just by being this guy and now actively engaging in weekly live streams with highly experienced people. In the tracking world. So yeah, is it selfish? Maybe a little bit, because I'm always looking for anything I can get. But it's fun stuff. So great things on both sides. The national level and the local level. And maybe there's an opportunities to bridge a little bit of the state and the national groups. For some cool stuff too, we'll see what this leads to, but I just wanted to make that announcement here while testing the true live stream feature of my streaming service. I've typically always done it as a recording. I'll record the podcast or the stream and then publish them to post later. This is a true live stream, so I needed to test that out. So thank you for all of the support. Let's just read a couple of things here. What did Blake say? Oh, snap. Congrats, brother. Even if you don't take the offer, that's a huge compliment and your hard work with this podcast. Well, thanks, Blake. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's more fun than work, but it's, it does take an effort. And it's amateur, but I guess it's working. Dexter, the deer tracking dog. Michael, good morning. Good morning, Michael. Thank you. Dylan, watching on YouTube. Seems good to go over here, buddy. Okay, good. Good. Yep, good to go. And Dexter, the deer tracking dog. Mike again. Congratulations. You are definitely the right guy, and we'll be up for the challenges. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that, Mike. Oh, by the way, Mike, be prepared. I used your name in vain, and you are now listed as on one of the live stream topics. I know you've been on before, but I think we're gonna tap your expertise for other stuff too as we go. Dylan, I just got your text. Thanks, man. What? Yeah, thanks, brother. Yeah, Dylan was just texting me saying congratulations on the MDTN thing. So, yeah, I'm super stoked, guys. I'm super stoked. Again, there's going to be some really good stuff to come. Sounds good. All right, Mike. Sounds good. So, guys, that's really it. I'm not going to drag this out more than what it has to be. So, the other thing I wanted to mention this just because now I'm greedy, and maybe this is a bit egotistical, but I am a man, and all men have egos. I don't think this is narcissistic though. But it might be egotistical. So check this out. When I started the season, Calvin, glad you have a part of the admin team. Lots of fun things to come. Thanks, Calvin. Yeah, Calvin's the one that called me, and I appreciate it, dude. And Calvin's a good friend, and I was always like to support the MDTN behind the scenes, just doing little things, because I enjoy doing that. And I told Calvin, I says, look, if you want to have another admin, yeah, you know what? I think I'd like to do it. And I have ideas, and I mean, they're good, but they are ideas. And he welcomed me on board. The funny thing was, I'll tell you real quick about the call with Calvin, how that started. Calvin was ice fishing, and I was at work, so that pissed me off a little bit, because he could, I'm out here jigging for crappies and stuff. Oh, thanks, Calvin. I'm here dealing with angry fire chiefs. Appreciate it, buddy. What's up? I'm kidding, of course. Now, that was a true scenario, but I was glad that he was. I had to rub it in on him, but so he started asking me. He said, "Hey, what do you vision for the MBTN?" I'm like, "Oh." So I brain dumped. I said this, that, and I think this, and I think about this a lot, and all of the things that the stream of consciousness stuff that I've been talking about. Calvin says, "Well," he says, "were you in our meeting last night? Because everything you said is something that are things we talked about in the meeting." I'm like, "No, wow, that's cool," and that's when he dropped the bomb about asking if I'd be interested in joining the admin team, and so here I am. But yeah, man. So what I was getting at before I interrupted myself is when I started the 2024 season, going in, I think I had on my Tales on Trails deer tracking Facebook page, I feel like I was only mid 400s, maybe upper 400s follower, maybe a little bit more. Today, I'm up to 911 followers, and that's not a lot compared to the big time people, but I'm pretty flattered with that. So I'm going to make this subtle and understated move to try to get to 1,000. How quickly can I get to those other 89 followers to get to 1,000 on Tales on Trails deer tracking? So if you're not officially following, hit that follow button, man. I want to see how soon I can get to 1,000, or 1,000. Just because it's fun and perhaps somewhat somewhat ego-driven, but I don't have anything to really gain from it, so it's not like there's any real ego there, but it's just fun. So I'd love to do it. So anyway, guys, my grandkids just got here. My dog is going crazy. I wanted to come on and make these announcements. Thank you for those that have commented and congratulating me. I do appreciate it. Be watching the ABTA for some really cool stuff. The live stream coming up on Tuesday. I will be doing that live from Louisiana, from my hotel room. Kenny and Rolf are going to be the guests. I'm going to be the host, and we're going to talk in some specific detail about the ABTA. At least that's the barring any last minute changes. But so that's the plan. But anyway, guys, I appreciate everything. More the good, less the bad, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
It's a tracking hound, cool fall morning with dew on the ground. We done found the deer with a tracking hound. We done found the deer with a tracking hound.